From the advertising media capital of the world, New Milford, Connecticut, wherever that is. This is Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson, a bi-weekly-ish podcast about all things automotive marketing. Now, here's your host, Matt Wilson.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson. Like the guy said, the bi-weekly-ish podcast about all things automotive marketing. Although now it comes out every week, but I don't feel like changing the intro, so we'll just stick with that. We're presented by Silverback Advertising, online at silverbackadvertising.com. It's story time now. Grab your blankies. One time at my Nissan store, we were trying to figure out something to post online. At the time, I think we were going to put it on Facebook. That was topical. We were like, let's make a topical video and get it out there. And so what was topical at the time was a heat wave. It was like, you know what a heat wave is, a string of days in a row over a certain temperature. So it was hot, and we were complaining about being hot. And we said, what do people do when it's hot? Man, it's so hot outside, you can fry an egg. So we said, let's try and fry an egg. So we got actually, I have audio of it here. Hold on. So we tried to fry an egg on the sidewalk. And I said, let's make a video about frying an egg on a sidewalk. Here's kind of what it sounded like. It's hot here at Bruce Bennett Nissan. And we're going to try and fry an egg on the sidewalk. Or not the sidewalk, the road, the parking lot, because it's so hot. Okay, ready. Let's see if it works. You know what you're doing? It's not really frying. Going. Is it? Let's get close. You get the idea. That's the worst. We're trying to fry an egg on the sidewalk, right? So let's post that, and it's not car related content, but we were bored and it was the middle of the month. The marketing was done for the month and we didn't have a lot going on. And we're like, let's make this video. So we posted it on Facebook, and it got like a ridiculous amount of comments because people were like, that it's got to be 350 degrees and the temperature of boiling and this and that, and it was like non-car related, but it was a conversation starter because everybody on the planet was complaining about how hot it was outside. And so the reason I bring this up is yesterday I was on a little Instagram thing with a buddy of mine, Joe Amato, who has a content agency in the Hudson Valley called Vivo Media, maybe Vivo Entertainment, Vivo something or other. And we were talking about content. And he said the question he gets the most from potential clients is, totally agree, I got to post stuff, but like, what am I going to post? Like, I don't really know where to start. And my buddy Joe said, well, that sometimes is the barrier to entry. So our guest today that's going to chat with us about content is Terry Lancaster. He's a copywriter, marketing strategist, and storyteller. He's an automotive marketing consultant and Instant Events Automotive Advertising. And most importantly, he's an expert panel member at Dealer Marketing Magazine. His name's Terry Lancaster. We'll bring him in here. Hello, Terry. How are you?
What up, Matt? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good. Hey, what'd you think of my egg video? Let's start there.
So I think that's perfect. I mean, that is and one most of the time it doesn't matter so much what you post. You just got to post something. And I think you hit on the key is you had 1 million people liking it and commenting on it and starting conversations. And as marketers, we get all caught up in the numbers. Okay, what's my pay per click? What's my conversion ratio? What's my ROI? There's lots of these numbers going on. But we forget that the true purpose of the marketing of all marketing is to start a conversation.
Yeah.
You got to start the conversation. You know, the video you post on Facebook, it's not going to sell a car for you, right? But it might start a conversation, and that's going to allow you to sell a car. So anything that's going to start a conversation is A-okay in my book.
How do you know where? Okay, so let's get past the fact that, people believe, or let's assume people understand the importance of posting content, right? So we won't go into like why you should do it. Let's talk about what you should do. And I feel like, so how do people know where to start? Okay, they know, okay, I got to be active on social media. But like, what am I going to do? Like, do you have to have a sense of humor? Do you have to feel comfortable in front of the camera? What kind of stuff are you going to post? Like where do people start? What's step?
That's why that's why so many people don't start is because they don't know where to start. And then you've got all these marketing people speaking in the ear. Oh no, you got to be on TikTok. No, you got to be on Snapchat. Oh, you got to do more video. Oh, you need to start your own podcast. And there's this wave of stuff going on. And they get confused too, because what does selling an egg have to do with selling cars? I'm here to sell cars. I'm not here to fry eggs, you know. So getting started is the hardest part. I tell the different. There's the Tom Petty song. I love Tom Petty. Tom Petty says the waiting is the hardest part. But Tom Petty was wrong, baby. Tom Petty was way wrong, because getting started is the hardest part. Getting started is always the hardest part. And at some point, the way you get started is you get started. And
just start. And I'm gonna tell you a little secret. And I hate to tell you this for the people who haven't done it yet. Most of the stuff you do for a long time is going to suck. It's not going to be great, but most of the time that doesn't matter either. You're going to get better, and people don't care. I read this big article the other day about this new trend in advertising. It's trickled up to Madison Avenue. That they call it lo-fi. Have you seen this, Matt? No, tell me.
So I read this article. I can't remember where I read the article, but they were talking about the lo-fi trend in advertising, and they're trying to make all advertising not look like advertising. We want all of our ads to look like they were shot on a cell phone. I've spent 30 years in the advertising business, and I've spent, untold hundreds of thousands of dollars on equipment and editing to make our ads look exactly this way, and make them sound exactly this way, and make them pop and make them flash and make them do all this stuff. But what matters now is that it looks like there's another human being on the other end of that. Social media has completely changed the paradigm on all of the content. And the way you get started is you just get started. Maybe that means you're typing a post. Maybe that means you're recording some video on your phone. Just don't sweat it too much. Start talking, start creating content, and start figuring out ways to get better at it.
I think people get hung up just on what you said there, get hung up on like the equipment. Oh, I need a camera and lighting and a lapel mic. And like maybe down the road you get those things, but you don't need, it's the same thing with the podcast. I need this, and this to start. No, you don't. Your phone has a recorder on it. Start there.
Push this button, boom, you got a podcast.
You're going to suck anyway in the beginning. Like I relate it back to radio. I can't anymore because it's all on cassette. I don't own a cassette player, but I could go back and listen to an overnight radio show on a rock station that I did in 1997 and be like, oh my God, that's, first of all, it's embarrassing. Why did they ever let me on the radio back then? Same thing with the podcast. I could listen back to 2 years ago and be like, I'm comfortable with the way I sound because I've been on the radio for a long time. But I look back 2 years ago at the podcast and I go, oh man, that wasn't that good. It's gotten so much better than it is now. Same thing with your content. You look back 2 years ago and you're gonna be like, oh man, what was I posting? But you get better by doing it. You don't get better by overthinking it and not starting, right?
Right. Yeah. You start and you reiterate. You start saying, what's getting comments, what's starting conversations, and you kind of lean into that.
Yeah. What kind of content? So like as thought starters, like what, so, like I did the egg thing because I thought it would be topical and slightly entertaining, but what kind of content can a business or a car dealership, should they focus on to start? Like we say just start, right? Okay. But what are you gonna do? Like, what's your first video going to be about?
So the one of my rules is put a face on Facebook. Facebook was created for promoting people. It's not they in the movie Social Network, they talk about how Zuckerberg crashed the computers at whatever college he was in because he had Harvard. Pictures with FarmView or whatever it was. He was you got to you hot or not. It was rate the co-eds. Yeah. So it was putting faces on the Facebook or whatever he was calling it at the time, and Facebook was created to share faces. So start with that. Start with content that highlights people, and look for ways to highlight people that aren't you. Put some faces on Facebook and on TikTok and on Instagram or wherever else you're putting all these things. I am platform agnostic. But look for ways to put faces and human beings in this content, specifically human beings that aren't you. Promote other people in the community, tell other people's stories. And if you can find a way to tell other people's stories, they're going to share that message. They're going to spread that story.
talking about being platform agnostic, is there, because there's a million places, there's Facebook and Instagram and Reels on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and Snapchat, and it's crazy. Even for the podcast, I'm like, all right, I'm going to post it here, I'm going to post it here, and post it here. It's like, oh, do you put us on TikTok? I don't got time. I can't do them all. There's not enough time in the day for me to do them all, and they all need different formats and different sizing. Should people not stress out about where they're going to post it? Like, pick what's comfortable, where you can get it done quickest, where it has the most effect, or then they need to put it everywhere? Or like, what's
well, I mean, if you're a dealership and you have resources, more is better, right?
Right.
So
sure.
if you're a dealer and you have marketing people and you have marketing agencies, use every tool in the shed and try to spread it as far and wide as you can. If you have limited resources and limited time, you need to pick your time. So there's two things about that. Number one, remember that Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla. I know Facebook gets dogged on a lot,
right.
But that's because Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla and everybody wants to shoot for the 800-pound gorilla. Facebook is twice the size of the second largest social media network, and it owns the second largest social media network. So,
yes.
Facebook is still the big dog. If you're going to start anywhere, start there. But more specifically, start where you're comfortable. The social media platform, the content sharing platform that you're going to get the most use out of is the one you use the most. Mm-hmm. So if you're active on social media now, concentrate your efforts where you're already active, so it becomes a habit, so it's naturally part of your life.
So it's a car dealer. It's in a car dealer's nature, whether it's a dealer or a sales manager or a salesperson, to sell. Hey, everybody, this is Matt at Matt's Nissan, and we have a special on Nissan Leafs this month. They're $149 a month, and there's a $7,500 federal tax credit on this car. But that's not really what you should be doing, right? Oh, we can't hear you.
That's not what you should be doing all the time.
Right.
I mean, there's one of the things I say is you need to do some of that. You're in the business to sell. You've got to ask for the order sometime. There's a book by Gary Vaynerchuk called Jab, 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 Right Hook, where he describes this as like a boxing match. You spend a lot of time creating content, connecting people, having conversations, interacting and engaging with them. And every one of those interactions and engagement is like a jab in a prize fight. You're kind of feeling everything out. You're kind of softening. You're getting people to kind of lower their defenses. But every once in a while, you got to throw the big right hook. You've got to ask for the order. You've got to come on and go, oh my goodness, we got this giant truckload of F-150s. We've been waiting on F-150s all summer. Now we got the truckload. They've got the new bed. They've got the big rims. Yeah. They've got the lights. They got all this. I got them for $299 a month. You need to come on down. That's good. Do that every once in a while. But you got to spend a lot more time talking about stuff that people want to see. People didn't wake up in the morning and start scrolling through their phone looking for your ad about that F-150. So that ad about the F-150, if you're going to do an ad, that has to be the exception, not the rule.
What are some different categories of content that content creators or dealerships should focus on?
Well, the community, 100% community. My biggest thing is people and community. You need to create content about your people, the people in your store. The people in your store are your biggest unused asset. The average dealership has 100, 125 employees. That's 100, 125 employees. Each one of them has 300 friends on Facebook. That's thousands and thousands of people. That's your natural market. That's their brother-in-law Bob works in your parts counter, then they ought to be thinking about you to come buy a car when they buy a car. And they're going to do that more if your brother-in-law Bob happens to be sharing the content that your dealership is creating. So one of the way to get brother-in-law Bob to share that content, create a little content about him. Do an employee feature about all your employees. They're going to share it. Their mom's going to see it. Their sister-in-law is going to see it. All their friends are going to see it. That's a view for the dealership. Look for ways to promote other people in the community. Promote your customers. We all do the thing. I just got through watching a bunch of live videos where everyone was doing the stand up in front of the car and the thumbs up and hey, look who just bought a car. Thanks for coming to buy that. That's great. Do that. But let's step past that and create some content that actually promotes our customers. If you got a customer who owns a small business, create some content promoting their small business and use your big network to share the story about Bob's Donut Hut Bob's Donut Hut. He's been buying cars for me for years. He's got the Donut Hut around the corner. Today's special is the apple fritter. Man, I love me some apple fritters. Share that story. Bob's Donuts Hut's going to share that story far and wide, and everyone's going to see that, oh yeah, that the folks at Exeter Nissan just put this out. So look for ways to get other people in the story, so other people will help you tell the story.
We did that at our Nissan store with the local radio station. They wanted in some new vehicles, and so they, we traded and they paid cash for a vehicle, and we traded a vehicle with them, and they had 2 Nissans from us, and they logoed them up. And I said, when you get the vehicles logoed up, park them in front of the sign, take a picture with them, and and we'll share that picture. Like, hey, the local, check out this I-95. Check out I-95's new vehicles. You see them on the street. They're from Bruce Bennett Nissan. And we said, and then we would like you guys to share the same thing. Hey, we got these cars from so and so, because now it's putting us in front of their audience. It's putting them in front of our audience. It's a benefit. We're involved with something locally, but we also did that with a lot of charity stuff. Like if we hosted something at the dealership, like a some kind of charity event. We used to do pet adoption things. Like everyone loves pets, right there. There's plenty of content for you.
All right, puppies.
Sure. Exactly. Come adopt a puppy and put a video up. What about how-to educational, kind of informational stuff?
I mean, those are great. I love how-tos. Those are great because those get you long-lasting thing. You stick a how-to video, how to pair your phone with your new Corvette. You stick that on there, and you put the right tags on there. You stick it on YouTube, and that's going to generate some traffic for years and years and years. And it's educational, and it doesn't try to sell anything. It's just trying to help, be helpful. And I love what you're talking about charity. That's the other thing. I've been working with dealerships for 40 years, and every dealership I've ever met, they're the largest charitable contributor in their small town. They host the softball team. They host the kids' peewee football team. Whenever someone is having some kind of charity drive, their first stop is the Ford or Chevy or Nissan store in town. They're knocking on that door, and they're constantly handing out this money. So instead of handing them a check and letting it go, get involved and use that community to be a big part of the community. And I'm glad you mentioned radio. I come from a radio background too, and radio was pre social media, but radio was really the original social media, because radio, and I found this out pretty on, radio wasn't about the latest Bon Jovi and Janet Jackson records that I was spinning. It was about getting out in the community, going out and doing the live remotes and getting people on the air and getting people to call in and interacting. Mm-hmm. So look for content that creates interactions and try to create interactions that you can create content from.
God, it used to be so fun working in radio.
Oh man, it's great. It was a blast. I was a teenager. I loved that.
I talked to so many former radio people.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
I know more former radio people than I know current radio people.
Right, because every disc jockey is manning 17 stations right now. So it's a whole other world.
My dad is a morning show host at a rock station in my market in Connecticut. He's been there for 42 years, and his morning show partner is my age, a buddy of mine for 20 years. And everybody I met, my wife included, I met through radio. And we always say, man, it used to be so fun. But how many former radio people I meet who are in media, advertising, content, or the automotive industry?
All of them.
Unbelievable.
I've told everybody we're going to start a club, the X-Radio Guys Club, X-Radio People's Club. We're everywhere.
What is it about like media, content, and automotive that attracts X-Radio people, though? I don't know.
The truth is, that's how I got into the car business in the first place. I was a disc jockey, and then I was selling advertising. Half of my paycheck was coming from commission from car dealerships, so I just naturally migrated that way.
Yeah, I knew all the car dealers in the market. Same thing. Right. I was on the air on a couple of our stations, and I was a promotions marketing director, and I knew all the car dealers just from giveaways. We used to give away Chevy trucks on our rock station every summer. Yeah. And so I was like, man, I'm going to get out of radio. It's time. I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm not making any money. I'm going to do something different. And I approached the local car dealer with an idea for hiring an internal marketing person. And, long story short, that's how I got into automotive. And I think that automotive people or radio people end up in automotive and media, because when you're in radio, you're involved in so many different types of businesses and you meet so many people that it's easy to go that way. And automotive is, used to be such a huge part of radio's
Exactly. Yeah.
revenue that radio people all know car people and car people all know radio people. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, we're off track. That happens every time I talk to a former radio person. So,
well,
anyway.
and the thing is, because from radio, all those people. So bring that same mindset to the dealership. Try, and tell people, think of yourself, think of your company as a broadcast station, as a radio station. You're releasing a steady stream of content on multiple platforms. You're trying to create interaction and engagement, and think of yourself just like you're sponsored by Silverback Advertising. You have this show. Think of yourself as the sponsor. You're not the show.
Yeah,
you're the sponsor. And every once in a while, mention the sponsor. Give people a reason to come see you. But most of the time, spend it talking about what's going on in the community, the charities, the people, how you can help each other.
You say in your Dealer Marketing Magazine article at dealermarketing.com, it ain't about you. How important is it to understand it ain't about you?
That's the most important thing to know about almost every form of advertising and marketing and all. It ain't about you. Whether I get a lot of salespeople, especially, call me and they want to talk about they get this hair that they decide they got to build their personal brand. That was the big catch thing a couple of years ago. Everyone wanted to build a personal brand, and the most important thing about personal brand is it ain't about you. A personal brand is what other people think about you. The idea of you that exists in your head. Same thing with the dealership. Your brand, the brand ain't about you. It's about what the people in the community think about you, the idea of you, your dealership that exists in their head. It's not about the color of your sign. It's not about the voice on your commercials. It's not about what kind of content you're creating. It's about this seed that you've planted in people's head that's grown into this brand. So it ain't about you. Quit trying to make it about you. Make it about them, and a lot more things will start happening.
I have a buddy who he uses a hashtag all the time, and it's hashtag be them centric is his hashtag. And it's the same thing. It's about them. It's not about you. What can you provide for them? What are you saying for them? What's the value that you're providing them? Hashtag be them centric. It hasn't caught on, but he's been sticking with it for the last year.
So, in production of advertising, that's one of the things I've been telling people for years too, is, I get dealers that'll call me and go, okay, we want to talk about, how long we've been in business. My grandfather started the store 100 years ago. And I used to tell everyone that my who cares role. Who cares? So what? What's in it for them? Everyone wants to know what's in it for me. So when you're creating the content, think about what's in it for them. How are you going to help them? How can you make their lives better? What can you do for them?
Check out Larry's article on Dealer Marketing Magazine, which is dealermarketing.com. Terry is on the expert panel there. What else are you working on, man? What else are you working on for Dealer Marketing Magazine? What other good stuff can we expect to read soon from you?
So I've been writing a lot about content lately. So I'm going to be writing more about content, forms of content, coming up with ideas. Like you said, what do I need to post? The idea that it's not about you. That's a good one. I haven't really got anything planned out, so I need to sit down and do that. But a lot more about content, a lot more about blog posting and writing stuff that has seemingly nothing to do with the dealership and selling cars, but is actually just about the community. And I'm probably going to write an article about what we talked about today, is that you occasionally have to ask for the order. Don't be bashful. That's one of the things I talked about in that article that you're reading there. Is that was one of the 3 types of content that you got to have about community, about the buying experience, and giving them a reason to buy, making them an offer they can't refuse. So spend some time thinking of ways to make better offers that actually generate some traffic.
You're going to be my content guy. Like if I have a content thing, I need to talk about content. You're going to be, because like Dealer Marketing Magazine has their expert panel members, right? You remember back in the radio days, right? I used to have a NASCAR talk show, and is there an analytics question about stats? All right, here's my stat guy. Is there a problem with something going on at Hendrick Motorsports? Here's my insider at Hendrick Motorsports. So Terry Lancaster, you're going to be my content guy. Let's talk about content. I got a content question. Boom. Bringing in my content expert. Are you in?
I'm in.
Doesn't pay at all, but still, I need an expert.
I've been working for free so long, I forget what a paycheck looks like, man.
Terry Lancaster, he is an expert panel member at Dealer Marketing Magazine. He's also a copywriter, marketing strategist, and storyteller, and automotive marketing consultant, Instant Events Automotive Advertising. I couldn't fit all that on the screen, but I to those of you watching, but I got it all out in one breath. So Terry, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Brother, I appreciate you having me on. I'm here anytime. Let me know.
You got it. There you go, folks. Good information there. I think the takeaway, there was a couple of takeaways, but for me, and Joe Amato was saying it when I was doing his Instagram thing yesterday, is you just got to start. Anybody ever watch the movie Sing? I've got young kids. I got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and we watch Sing a lot. And Matthew McConaughey plays the koala bear. And then there's somebody who plays the elephant, and she's got a beautiful voice, but she's afraid to sing. And so he's talking to her about starting, and he goes, the best way to start is just sing. I don't know if it's that simple, but that's what you got to do. Start taping yourself and just go. Start with it. Good advice from Terry right there. Check out Terry and all the other expert panel members at Dealer Marketing Magazine on the website at dealermarketing.com. Yes, don't forget to listen, like, subscribe, all the stuff you're supposed to say at the end of a podcast or a vlog. Just do all that. Thanks for listening to Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson.
Mostly Automotive Marketing with Matt Wilson is brought to you by... Wait, this guy has sponsors? Oh, never mind. This sheet of paper's blank. No sponsors. That makes more sense. For updates, info, future episodes, and more, follow on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and connect on Frackle. You guys made that last one up. That's not even a thing, Frackle. Come on.